how's it going, guys? So I'm here to give you guys my review of Starfleet Academy Episode 9. I know this is a bit late, but I watched it, and then I had some stuff come up that I had to do, and then I kind of, I forgot, kind of what happened, because it's such a forgettable show, and so I had to rewatch it. I just rewatched it, and man, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think I probably like this episode more than any of the other episodes because now I don't know a whole lot about Star Trek. I don't know the lore. I don't know the species and the lore behind them and things like that. The different alien races. So I'm coming at this just from kind of like a casual's perspective, and I'm sure even Star Trek fans could probably agree with me on this when I say, let me adjust here. When I say, this show, it's called Star Trek, right? But there's really no, trekking to be done through stars. Where are we trekking to? The only place we've trekked is to San Francisco, California. From somewhere in space in episode 1 to episode 2. Other than that, we haven't gone anywhere. And so, for that reason, I appreciated this episode because we got to see somewhere else. Now, does it mean it was very good? No, absolutely not. Even though this episode had, there was an action scene, even though it wasn't done very well, and I'm somebody that likes astrophysics and spaceships and things like that, and so I was enjoying seeing the ship fly around, and just that scene at the end where they zoomed out, and it was just you could just kind of see it there sitting in the clouds. Even though it's not a good show, I still thought it was a decent shot. I enjoyed looking at the ship, the little the disc saucer sitting in the thing. So what's the premise of this episode? And the premise of this episode is an underlying problem of this entire series so far, and this season 1. So if you guys remember, if you've watched the show, hopefully you haven't, and you just watch creators talk about it, save yourself time, insanity. But the Caleb Muir, which is our main protagonist, you could say, him and his mother are separated at a very young age by the Federation, and I don't know exactly what the Federation is. I don't know. Are they just I know it's not America because they're representative of the entire world. So are they the United States of the universe? Is that what the Federation is? I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below if you do. But they're separated from when he's a very young age, and we're 9 episodes in, and we're just now picking back up with that plot point. Yeah, it's alluded to in the background of episodes, yes, we're trying to find your mom, we're still not able to find her. They drop some lines, but it's not a main story, a main plot point. And it's supposed to be so. What this show's done is it's taken an episode that realistically should have been an episode 2 or an episode 3, maybe if you want to push it a 4 or a 5, and that's where episode 9 should have fallen. And then maybe after that he joins with the mom, and I don't know, other stuff happens, and instead we get what feels like, to me personally, at maximum 2 episode fan fiction that they knew they weren't going to get a show for because it's only 2 episodes worth, and then they just filled it in with the middle with a bunch of trash. That's what this feels like. Literally, watch episode 1 and watch episode 9 back to back, I haven't done it, but I can almost guarantee you it will feel better than if you watch episode 1 and then watch all the way up to 9. I think if you just watch episode 1 and episode 9 back to back, I actually think it makes more sense. Like, surprisingly. I don't know how they've done this, but they just have. So basically, he finds his mom. They go to this planet, and he finds his mom. And we learn that Noose Bracca is taking over planets. And Noose Bracca, we've seen him in the past. And Noose Bracca is using these mines to surround all of Federation space. Now, I've seen people losing it online over this. Space is... We can't even think about how big space is. I don't really think space has a size. It's just infinitely expanding, right? So when people are like, oh, space is big, it's like, yeah, but can you really even classify it as big if it doesn't have a size? Because it's infinitely... Okay, I'm not going to go down this road. But, so he's surrounded Federation space with these mine things, and I don't really, and they show it at the end, when I said that I like the saucer sitting in the cloud, the saucer's like resting, it's like right here, and it's like resting right up against this barrier thing. Now the thing that doesn't make sense to me, they explain earlier that this mine, one of these mines exploded, and it wiped out a section of space, and you can't warp travel there or really do anything there anymore, I guess. So, and he surrounded Federation space with these things. Then why does it look like there's a barrier if it's just mine, right? Because the way they describe it would be like, you know, like the World War II minefields that they would have in the oceans for like submarines and like boats and stuff. That's kind of how it's depicted, at least from my point of view and how I understood it. Like, just like a bunch of mines floating out in space, and you better not hit one, you know what I mean? But the way it looks is it's like a dome, like around Federation space, however big that is, which I agree, it's stupid. Like, I don't think you can really quantify how big Federation space is. And you literally show it being like a barrier. So I don't think they can be both. Can they be both? The people that know Star Trek? I don't think they can. Like, it doesn't make any sense how bombs can also be a barrier, because you literally see it looks like a force field. It literally looks like a force field. So I don't know how you explain that. Another thing that really bothered me was, so the mom hasn't seen her son in 21 years. And I've seen people talk about like, oh, like, she wouldn't recognize him and stuff like that. And that, I think maybe she would recognize him. Well, no, I don't think she would recognize him. Let me correct myself there. That's not what I meant to say. What I meant to say was, I don't think she recognizes him. Because, you know, if you're going to critique the show, I think you got to be fair about it. I don't think she recognizes him until he says mom. And then I think she recognizes him. Because she's kind of just looking at him, holding her knife to his throat, and she's not pulling her mask down like Caleb until he says mom. So I think that she doesn't recognize him. But another thing that just bothered me is this is 21 years from when we saw her last. And she looks the exact same. Like, she would look older. Like, she would look aged up and stuff like that. She wouldn't look like 50 or 60, but she would look at least like 40 something. And she just doesn't. And so, like, I don't know. It just threw me off. It's something I noticed. Another thing is when Caleb's leaving to find his mom, the hologram girl shows up and says some stupid shit, and then it kind of makes sense for her to go after the stupid shit she says. She kind of like gives a good reason for her to be there, and then but it's said in a dumb way. And then out of nowhere, Genesis shows up, because I guess she had to shut down the shipping bay for the ships. And then glitter guy, the guy that spits up glitter. He shows up. So eventually, people just start pouring through the door for no reason. It doesn't make any sense. A lot of this show doesn't make any sense, as you guys know. So episode 9, it was slightly, I liked it a little bit more because there were some, not the story, there were just some interesting tidbits that I enjoyed, like seeing the ship sitting in space and stuff like that. And it's like, it's gonna be way more entertaining if it had actual action with cool ships, but we just get a ship sitting in space and these cool clouds, and it looked kind of neat, but that's about it. And so I can't really give it up. I was gonna give it a point for that, but I can't really give it a point for that. So yeah, I'm at a 2. I'm at a 2 for episode 9. It's just not very entertaining. We at least went to another planet, you know, so there's that. But yeah, it's just, we trekked. That's about it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this review. Stay tuned for my Monarch Legacy of Monsters episode 2 season 2 review out soon, and then I'll also try and have out Yellowstone Marshals for you guys as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace out, everyone.